A 6-week trial for a man accused of killing 2 people back in 1992 started today in Waupaca County Court. Tony Haase wasn't arrested until 2022, 30 years after the deaths of Tana Togstad and Tim Mumbrew. He was charged based on DNA evidence and statements he made to investigators. Prosecutors say on the night of the murders, he got drunk and went to Togstad's house to confront her when he stabbed Togstad and her friend. He was 21 at the time and says he remembered snippets after seeing news of their deaths, but he said he didn't go to the house to hurt anyone and denied killing them.